Welcome to the Fellowship of the Script, the podcast where we dive deep into the craft, struggles, and stories of filmmaking. I'm your host, Derek J. Bowder.
And I'm your other host, Ben Escobar.
Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the industry for years, this is the place for real talk about the art and business of film. Today we're doing our monthly Q&A, where we answer questions from our Patreon members that are tier 2 and up. But before we dive in, if you're watching or listening on Spotify, please give us a follow so you get notified every time we drop a new episode. That also helps our podcast get recommended to new people. We would greatly appreciate it.
That's
And
right.
Yeah, go
And
ahead.
I was going to say, well, there's big news to share. So last episode on Derek's Indiegogo, there was 23,000, I believe, to be
Yeah,
donated.
I think somewhere around there.
And now it has surpassed the goal and is now at $28,000 raised, which is incredible. So they have a green light. And mission successful. Thank you so much for supporting.
Yeah, and thank you, Ben, for supporting it as well. Everybody who's supported it. We got a little less than a week left at the time of this upload, and I mean we're almost to our stretch goal. So that's awesome. You guys absolutely just destroyed the initial goal there. So thank you. And if you have been eyeballing anything on February 1st at 9 a.m. Pacific, those rewards go away for good. So last chance to grab them.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go ahead and take it away here.
Yeah.
Super Dude 01, one of our Patreon members, asked, would you guys make an animated movie or TV show or stick to live action? I think I would. I've since I rewatched The Polar Express, I've honestly been thinking if I were to do a Christmas movie, I think I would do an animated Christmas movie.
That's an interesting choice. Yeah, the animated stuff that we see like lately, in terms of like the Spider-Verse movies, obviously fucking the Riot one, the League of Legends one. Why am I blanking on the name? Oh my god. Oh my
Sorry,
god.
my camera went out of focus, so I was fixing that. What were you trying to?
The League of Legends show. Why am I blanking on the name?
I don't know what it's called. I forgot about that.
Oh, dude.
You want to make something like
Arcane?
Okay,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I like when you see stuff like that's horrible.
It's all right.
I should not have forgotten that.
No.
When you see something like Arcane, that's when it's like, okay, that's animation in the 21st century now, or at least this decade. In terms of something that I would switch, like that I would purposely adapt, I don't know, but if it was in that style, I think absolutely I could think of a few original script ideas, for sure, for that animated style.
Yeah, I think I like animated stuff when it kind of emulates real life and is, you act like it's shot by a camera. I like when they do that. Now when it's just like, I don't know. There's different kinds of animation styles. I like Toy Story and like the way Pixar does stuff. At least old Pixar. I don't know about new Pixar as much, but yeah, no. There's definitely. I think when it comes to family films, there's a sense of magic or imagination that animation captures that you can't quite emulate in real life, or at least very few have. As far as things that I think would be cool to see animated, I think Blade Runner is one of those universes that is really cool, but because of the nature of it being, science fiction and in the future with all the futuristic stuff, it's so expensive to make, and that's why the last one was like a bomb, was because it was just really expensive and not a big enough audience. So maybe something like an animated Blade Runner movie or series could be really cool if it was executed right. I mean, Cyberpunk. Remember, Cyberpunk has Edge Runners that was like a huge hit. That also brought up maybe Dread, because that's a similar situation. I love the movie Dread. Not the old one with Sylvester Stallone, not Judge Dredd, but Dread with Carl Urban. It's if you like Blade Runner, check that out, because it's kind of like similar in terms of dystopian, futuristic kind of story.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, that's another one where a huge audience, like there's a huge fan base for it, at least in terms of the people that like it. But it didn't make enough money to justify doing the sequel they wanted to do. There's a TV show they've tried to do, so maybe do an animated movie or something, just to kind of show that the franchise has legs or whatever you want to say. You
Yeah,
know,
that would be interesting. Do you watch much anime at all?
not anime. No, I've tried. It's a the camera keeps acting up tonight. Sorry, it's distracting
All
me.
good.
Um, no, there's something about anime, and I think it's just like maybe the acting style mostly, and how they like really do their emotions over the top. That I don't know. I just never really was my thing. But I've seen anime and I respect it, and I definitely see how other filmmakers that are getting notoriety a lot lately have drawn inspiration from anime for stuff. So what about you? I know
Yeah.
there's a ton of anime out there, man, like an insane amount.
Yeah. It's a really difficult like style to crack because it's very absurd or like not absurd, just it's just got a specific tone that's kind of required every time.
Kind of larger
But
than life,
yeah,
you know.
and it leans towards supernatural and I know there's a lot of like coming of age stuff that's like or at least like thriller and mild like more American genre stuff. Like Perfect Blue kind of has that. It's like a famous anime movie. That's like I'd call it like a suspense thriller, um, like a stalker thriller of sorts. And yeah, it's subversive when you do that, but it's again, it's still hard to crack because there's those very like Japanese oriented, elements to it. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on that because I just assume that animation is, off limits for me, just because I don't know how to do that.
I mean, you're making video games. Video games are I feel like
Sure.
closer to animation than
That's a fair
anything I've
point.
tried to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, animation is definitely not something that I'm over the moon about jumping into anytime soon. But I think it's one of those things that someday, if I have the resources and I have the ability to get the budget for something, because animation is not cheap, you know.
Right.
Um, yeah, I definitely think that would be the way to tell something that's too expensive to do in live action is because that can get even more depending on the scale of the story you're telling, I guess is what I'm trying to say, you know. So yeah, that was a really interesting question, super dude. So I'm saying I would venture into it maybe someday. Sounds like Ben's not opposed to it either.
Yeah,
But for right now, I'm
definitely.
sticking to live action.
Same here.
Yeah. Great question though. Cal, one of our longtime supporters, looking back at the risks you've taken in the past and where you are now creatively, what feels like the next real leap for you, and what kind of shift do you think it requires to get there? That is a very deep question.
That is deep as
I have
fuck.
to like read it again
Well,
in
let's
my
get
head.
into it.
Yeah. So look at the risks you've taken and where you are now creatively. What feels like the next real leap for you, and what does it require? I mean, I can answer pretty, I think, clearly right now because in terms of the next year to year and a half of my life, it's around midnight. That's my focus. And I mean, most of the risks I've taken in the past, it really came down to getting the money together to execute it. With my vision or whatever it is I was trying to do. And I think that's the biggest obstacle to what I'm doing right now, and that's what I've spent the last couple of months figuring out, is getting the money together to make around midnight. So definitely requires a lot of money, unfortunately. I wish filmmaking wasn't so expensive, and it's only getting more and more expensive every year with inflation and union regulations and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, the next real leap for me is just this leap that I'm in kind of the transition of right now to features. Every time I've gone live and people ask like, "Wait, how long is this one?" and I tell them it's a full length movie, at least an hour and a half. I stop and tell them, I just to be clear, like I I really do think I'm done making short films, unless it was a proof of concept that I needed to make in order to, get the green light on something. I don't see I don't really see I think there's a certain point where there's what am I trying to say? The diminishing returns. That's what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say. You know,
For
like
sure.
it's great for starting out and learning and making mistakes. You definitely want to make your biggest mistakes when you're doing short films and you're, really learning what it's like to even be on a set and stuff. And do those positions that you're setting out to do. But I more and more people are making short films every year. I mean, I right now I'm in a festival run for Hunters, and we've gotten I think like 7 or 8 notifications so far.
Mhm.
We got 1 honorable mention and 1 selection out of those 8. And all the ones that we got the rejection letters from, they all said they had like record numbers of submissions. Like every year, it's just more and more people are realizing they can get a hold of a camera and execute something that they wrote. And there's just not as many people who have the ability or the experience to get people together that are confident enough in them to make a feature. So I think that's the biggest obstacle is proving that you have the experience, getting the team together, and then having the resources to pay them. That's where I'm at right now.
It's a really good way to put it. Um, yeah, having the resources to pay the team is sort of the thing that it always adds up to, I think. Um, but yeah, over the years, there's a lot of risks where, I've done a feature as well, but the circumstances around my feature were different compared to Derek's, where I was very much like just do it with nothing and do it with whatever I can. And I have a camera and just get my friends while we're all together in film school and we're filming anyway, constantly. Let's just, do something with intention. And the thing that got me to was basically nowhere except a personal understanding of, what I can do. It was an understanding that, oh, I can declare I'm going to make a feature and I'm going to do it within this time frame with this resources. And I will come out of that. This date will pass, and I will have a feature. And I did that, and I did not get into any of the festivals I wanted it to. It did not get me into many doors. It started cool conversations with some people, but like it didn't really go anywhere. And I sort of have kept it under wraps since. I've never publicized it. I've never done that, and that's just more of a me thing that I need to get around to, of course. But I think um, where it built me creatively is that nobody is going to just like the whole thing where that guy says the cavalry is not coming. Like,
Mark Duplass, is that his name?
yeah, Mark
Yeah.
Duplass, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very true. And
You are the cavalry.
you have to be your own cavalry, and yes, there are times where you have to rely on some sort of cavalry or some sort of outside help, and it usually comes in the form of money. But the thing you must have is something that cannot be deniable, cannot be denied. And one of those things is numbers. Some of those things is personal relationships. Some of those things for other people is nepotism. Other things is rewards, which kind of or awards, which kind of go into numbers as well, and data driven stuff. But feeling, the feeling of, oh, I'm a young kid who just set out to make his first feature in just the senior year of film school, and here I am, and I did it. That doesn't get you as far as you would think, unfortunately, because it's just a good job, and oh wow, it sounds like you have a good work ethic. Maybe I can give you something, but most likely, like you're not going to get exactly what you think. But where does it take, or what's the next leap? Is I mean, yeah, it's just been a jump to IP and backing myself behind IP and acquiring stuff and taking it to studios, and that's what I realized it does open the doors, like the bigger doors that you would hope to get um, from tried and true efforts on your own. But even then, it's it's tough because that's a never meet your heroes experience half the time, and you got to make sure you know your worth, you know who you're hanging out with, you know who you're talking to, and who you're believe, because everyone's going to lie to you, even the people at the very top. Um, and you have to, pivot. You have to be able to utilize that momentum. And sometimes momentum is all you're going to get. You're not going to get a final product. Sometimes
Yeah.
the momentum you have on one project, um, the name drop will be all you will have, and you better use the hell out of that name drop so that way you can get another project that's also a name drop because of your other name drop, and then hopefully that other one is real and actually gets made. It's just a constant game of twister, or I don't know, just it's a mind game, and you got to like stick through it. So
Yeah, I liked what you kind of talked about earlier. I think one of the biggest obstacles for people is building evidence. You know, a lot of people, and I think Ben talking about how he made his first feature is an example of that. But I think a lot of people starting out, they don't think they need to build evidence. They think, oh, you know, I can just go do it. And I mean, that is, you do have to have some percentage of motivation being a little bit of delusion there. I think anybody who's in this business and wants to tell stories for a living in a way that is probably, I would say, making films is probably the hardest form of storytelling next to video games and all of that. Like, it's much like, I'm not saying it's easy to go write a book, but there's a lot less people you have to depend on to go write a book and then publish it. You know, but making a
true.
movie requires a cast and a crew. You know, I bet Ben's working with a team, a little team, I think, right, to make your video game. Like, it sounds like video games have been kind of a bit of freedom for you, Ben, as a storyteller, is what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's freedom because like the medium itself, there's no practicalities of, you don't have to
yeah,
rely on people. But like that reliance element is the whole thing that kind of shot me, was a blessing and a curse with my first feature, because it was something where I was like, if I'm going to make this, I have to star in it. I have to be the writer, director, editor, producer, and star, and I have to
sounds
get,
like me.
yeah, yeah. Okay. But then you have to ask the least amount of favors from as many people as you can, and you
Yeah,
got to make sure they're happy, so that way like they're giving their all. Because at the end of the day, like you're gonna know no one is gonna give a fuck about this project as much as you are,
yeah,
like you yourself, and that's the heaviest
yeah.
thing you have to live
People
with.
people will say they believed in it when it does come out and it works out, but I've definitely noticed that people, you know, like, I mean, I think no matter what you do for a living, I think it's important to every once in a while kind of self-check and be and remind yourself that most people at the end of the day, all they give a fuck about is themselves, you know? And that's kind of the truth, but um that's why when I think making films is, yeah, and next to what I experienced in the Coast Guard, I think when people get together and there's a common goal and everybody is you know, they're trying to hone in on this vision, that is a team effort, and if one person doesn't take it seriously or doesn't give it their all, it affects the whole thing. And so I don't know, there is that saying, and I think it's made me, ever since I really realized it, I think maybe, I mean, Pollo Loco definitely solidified it, but I think when I first got into student films and stuff like that, I realized, wow, like, you can tell who's just there because they have to be, and you can tell that everybody's kind of like, this is so and so's thesis film, and I really don't care. I'm just here to fill a spot because I have to, you know.
Yeah.
And you don't want that on your own projects, obviously. Um, but in order to get people excited about your project, you have to have evidence to show them. And I think if it wasn't for Pollo Loco, if it wasn't for Hunters, if it wasn't for Always Ready, me writing that script, I think the people that have backed this film and are supporting it on the cast and crew side, you know, would have not been so uh on board with doing Around Midnight. And of course also building an audience, that's helped too. I think that's another thing that everybody can focus on. Building evidence, building an audience, and then reminding yourself that you have to be your biggest supporter. You have to be the one that champions your project because nobody else is going to do that heavy lifting for you unless you have a lot of money to pay them. And most of us don't. So that was very deep. But Cal, I think that was a great question. And Cal has been asking a lot of introspective questions like this lately. And he's a filmmaker as well. He's over in Canada. And I know Canada is also experiencing kind of what we are, where there's been a huge downturn in the amount of projects there are. So hang in there, Cal. And yeah, thank you for your question. Anything else you want to say about that, Ben?
No, thank you, man. I think it's good to check in on that, and I want to spin the question on him. Like, how is your creative journey going, and what is like, what
Yeah.
would you answer that? And let us know either on Discord or the next episode. We should talk about it. Yeah, I think it's shit's changing every day. We got to continuously be the best version of ourselves. We got to like continuously look out for each other, and hopefully one day like this all goes to a place where we're all like really happy. I think it will, but yeah, these are the dog days, as they say.
Quick ad break. Subscribe to the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the YouTube channel. You know, click the bell, get those notifications going so that you don't miss an episode. If you're watching this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. We would really appreciate that. It helps people see the podcast. And then if you want to, if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing behind the scenes here outside of the podcast, follow us on our socials. I go by @DannyDorito23 and @Derek J. Bowder on everything.
I go by @RealBenEscobar or @GenieBoyGames, which will hopefully be alive again. Both of them will be alive again soon-ish here, as I've just hired a social media person.
Ooh.
That's right. Sorry, I spilled all my G Fuel. That's right. For gonna start making game content soon. So I think around March.
Very cool.
We'll be there.
Yeah, if you're into gaming, go follow Ben.
Thank you.
You can also join our free Discord, like we were just talking about with talking to Cal about his question. There's always people in there talking about movies, talking about whatever's going on, you know. And we also do giveaways in there. Our only ask is don't cause drama. Don't come in and start going, why do you do that? Like, and it's just somebody being themselves.
Yeah.
Cause drama, and we'll have a great time. I mean, we do have a great time in there. So join the Fellowship of the Script Discord. We are doing giveaways every month, and you can get access to those through the Patreon. So support us on Patreon if you want access to those. There's also producer credits, hangouts, our film fellowship, bunch of ways to interact with us, and a bunch of different ways you can support the podcast for stuff in return. And that starts at $1 a month, and you can save 15% if you subscribe annually. And I am going to be kind of changing up the Patreon a little bit here, either before this next month or when we come back after my film shoot's done and after we take our little 1 month hiatus from the podcast. So yeah, the Patreon it's evolving. And then last but not least, G Fuel code Danny D, 30% off. Ben and us both drink G Fuel to fuel our filmmaking endeavors.
That's right.
And they are always coming out with new stuff. They're bringing back a lot of their greatest flavors as 2.0. They just announced orange creamsicles coming back 2.0. That's great. That's gonna be a good one. And I just got Sonic Peach Rings 2.0, so I'm excited to try that.
Very cool. What was the Naruto one you're drinking?
Oh, this one, it's like called Sharingan, I think, but it's a pomegranate green tea. And it's
Sharingan.
Really good. Sharingan? Is that what it is?
Sharingan is how you say it. Yeah.
I don't. I've been saying it wrong all over TikTok. Then
that's okay.
Oh well. But it's great. Yeah, code Danny D gets you 30% off. So
yeah,
get you some. It supports the show. And then we have one more question here from Tommy Slays. He asked, and by the way, he is an associate producer, so thank you, Tommy, for being one of our biggest supporters. If you could rewrite one scene to change the plot of a movie or TV show, which would it be? Don't kill Snoke. In The Last Jedi, why did we kill Snoke? All this build up, and then a
That's a
terrible
real
third
one.
movie.
That's a really good one.
That is my
Oh
go-to answer.
God. I want to say I walked out of seeing the Return to Silent Hill last night. It
Man,
was obviously like exactly what you expected, but man, there was a crazy change that they threw in there. That was just the most shocking. Like, I can't believe this is actually like happening in front of me thing in there from the game that was like a clear, like they needed to do it for the sake of the time constraint, while also it was this, they were trying, it was a balancing act of we have to do all the big moments from Silent Hill 2, but then we have to compact it into an hour and 45 minutes and have to make it about Mary, the main girl. What do we do? And so there's these like storylines in Silent Hill 2 where it's about this guy who's essentially walking through purgatory and he's meeting these other people who have their own secrets and their own trauma. One person named Angela has a very, 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 very bad, dark trauma, which is a sexual survivor story with her and her father and all that. And it's very dark and it's very intense. There's also a little girl named Laura, and there's these people and this other guy named Eddie that James meets along the way, and they all represent different versions of him and different versions of life in general. They're all kind of their own entities. However, in this movie, they needed to include those characters because you don't have Silent Hill 2 without those characters, but they needed to wrap it up in a bow to get to the fucking ending climax as fast as possible, cut out the entire third act of the game and expedite it. And so what they did was they combined all the girl characters who were like the supporting actors that you see along the way. They combined them into one character. So by saying by having this crazy reveal that it shows on the gravestone of Mary, this guy's wife that he's been looking for this whole thing, that she has two middle names. Her name is Mary Angela Laura Crane. And it was like, what? What are you saying? And it's like, yes, this is Angela and Laura,
is this like
all
a
in the same person.
psychological twist
Yes.
here?
It's like a psychological thing to say like, oh, they were extensions of Mary. And it's like,
The
no,
whole
they're
time?
not. Yeah. It's like, if we give her, what if she just has two middle names and we name them after those other supporting characters? And it's
This
like,
is
she's
like
them.
Batman and Superman. Martha?
Yeah. It was kind of like that. Dude, it was the most surreal, insane thing ever. And that was like, I just can't believe that's how they did that. But I would for sure change that. I would also fucking undo completely and totally. I'll fucking say it with no
Ben
holds
would
barred
rewrite
now.
every movie if he could. I'm just kidding.
I would go back to square one on the Last of Us series, all of it. Not a single. Don't keep a damn thing. Maybe episode 3 of season 1. Maybe if you're good.
That's honestly the only thing about season 1 that I still like remember.
Yeah. And it's go back to fucking square one. And honestly,
Off topic. You know, I just heard an interesting story. Because Matt Damon and Ben Affleck they've been doing a bunch of press for The Rip that just came out on Netflix, which we talked about last episode. Still
Yes.
is doing really well. Definitely go check it out if you haven't seen it. Great film for the future of the industry there if it continues to do well. But Matt Damon said that he did this movie called The Adjustment Bureau. Have you ever heard of that?
No, the Adjustment
Bureau.
Bureau.
Yeah, Bureau. Yeah, The Adjustment
Oh,
Bureau.
yes, I've heard of this.
Yeah. Anyways, he was telling a story because they were talking about like if like knowing when you're shooting a scene, like if it was bad or not, right?
Uh-huh.
And then he talked about how sometimes when you do like scenes with the greats, like you're just it's crazy because he said that it's true that when an actor is that good, it in turn like they make you good. They just tee things up so well for you that like you can't they're just masters at it, right? And he said, and so every once in a while you'll get it from somebody that is just a day player. And he said they were doing a scene on the adjustment bureau, and like a priest came in or something, right? And him and Emily Blunt both, like, when they finished shooting that scene, they were both like, "Who the fuck was that guy? That guy was so good." It was
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal. It was Pedro,
Whoa.
like, way before he, like, you know, blew up the way he
Wow.
is now. And so I thought that was a really cool story. But anyways, The Last of Us, bringing that up, like, made me think of that. Like, I do think he was the best thing about that show in terms of casting. Um, I think he's the only casting that they got anywhere close to being like the video game, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
I still think they could have chosen better, but I think he was like partly the only reason why I looked forward to watching it when it came to like who's in the show, you know?
Hmm.
And so as soon as that twist happens in season two, I legitimately I legitimately was just like, why would I even want to like watch a third season? You know?
It is so heartbreaking what happened to it, and I just have no sympathy anymore.
I mean,
I
the
don't
video
care.
game does that too, though, right? But it's not.
I mean, what do you mean
I mean, that twist happens in the video game as well, right? But
with the death? Yeah, it's
yeah,
just the level of just how much that show is structured to treat you like an idiot and treat you like, everyone's IQ is like a fucking 2 is
yeah,
insane, because you don't open with Abby saying, "I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna kill every last one of them." And it's like,
it's not in the
what?
game.
No, you don't find out Abby's intention till the midpoint, till like 10 hours
Oh
in.
wow, I
It
did
should
not
be the
know that.
reveal in the season finale that, oh, she killed Joel because he killed her father. But we should be tracking Abby early on as just a new
Yeah,
character. That's cool. And
yeah.
the first scene in this
Wow,
season 2 is just like, nope, this is the girl, and Joel killed her father, and we got to get to that right away. And it's like no reveal,
I
no
did
nothing.
not know it was built up differently in the
Yeah,
game. Wow,
oh
that
yeah,
just makes me even more upset with it.
yeah. They destroyed the
Um,
whole structure. They cut a bunch of shit. It's all fucking. It's
I
all
think
gone to shit.
we saw that there was a drop off with season two, but I think season three is going to be like dead on arrival.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
Um,
anyways,
I don't think it'll. Yeah.
thank you for your question, Tommy. your Tommy's questions always take a left turn. Like it always takes us somewhere. So thank you for that one, Tommy. Ben, what is one interesting thing that's happened to you since the last episode? Since we are done with our questions.
Huh. I mean, the Silent Hill thing was a tough one, but no, I just be. I had a bit of a tough week. I got some adjustments on some projects that weren't the best of news, but kind of inevitable, and like, just different realities, reality checks on a few things, but it's fine. I am making progress on my game. This is my game's plural, and one cool thing, honestly, is I hired someone to focus on social media and a marketing campaign for the games, and it's going to be kind of my right hand man. And I had a really good call with them, and I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes me think. Because I was thinking, I've been a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, like all the pre-production stuff. Everybody, asking questions, or they need me to make a decision about wardrobe. One interesting thing was working on wardrobe this week, getting characters wardrobe together. We're continuing that this week, and I
That's
got to get
fun.
my own characters wardrobe together. Locking in my day players, I did that. That was really fun. I got to watch some tapes from somebody, and they sent me
Nice.
three different versions of the same like little scene, and that was really cool to see them do three different versions of that. And so it's just really cool to see the script I wrote come to life. And I pretty much locked in the dialogue this week
Nice.
because we were making a lot of changes during rehearsals. But yeah, no, that's been exciting. And one thing that each of us is looking forward to this next week, this is I am very grateful for the Indiegogo. But of course, with everything I'm doing right now, it's been something that I constantly have my attention on. So I am looking forward to to crossing the finish line and being able to take action with this, list of people that we've built up that are all a part of the film in some way. I get to go in and deliver those rewards now. Like I got to do the end of campaign video where I say thank you and all of that stuff, and then everybody's names are listed at the end of it with like some cool music.
Right.
And then I have to do a group thank you video where I'm literally going to thank everybody for yeah, who donated to a certain backer reward, or the producers and all of that. And that's going to be really fun to go through and say like, Ben Escobar, my good buddy, thank you for
Hell yeah.
backing around midnight. And like just go down the list. It's going to be a long
It'll be
YouTube
fun.
video. It's probably going to be like 5-10 minutes long, but I might just keep it raw too, because it's I think that's probably the best way to do that. But anyways, I'm definitely looking forward to crossing the finish line and really just full focus on delivering those rewards and making the film. It's crazy to think that, I mean, we're approaching like 1 month away from shooting. Got my dialogue locked in, so now it's really time to start memorizing my lines, and just brought on a first AD, and so we're finalizing our schedule. We did have our coffee shop fall through, unfortunately, so I'm playing that.
Oh, damn.
There is a couple of coffee shops that we're talking to though, so um, no, I'm not concerned at all. It's just like it's one of those things we got to go and lock in. I do need to apply for insurance, so we need to know where we're doing it for sure. But yeah, it's just full full pre-production, getting ready to shoot mode right now. And when that campaign ends, it just even more of my bandwidth that I have is going towards that. So it's yeah, full steam ahead. What about you, Ben? What's something you're looking forward to?
Um, hmm. I got some meetings I'm excited about this coming week that are hopefully going to be promising, and just chugging along in this game. I got a build of it to play over the weekend and test and give my first feedback on it. This one I'm making for the game jam, and it's going well. I have been just trying to stay present every day and just be more satisfied with what I have under my own control, and um just sticking with the real ones, I guess. I don't know. I I don't know if I'm gonna see any movies this coming week. What's coming out next week?
Sam Raimi's first rated R film in 25 years.
Send Help.
Yeah,
Oh,
very good
Melania.
things.
Melania's
Oh,
coming out next
of
week.
course. Oh man, I got to get my early tickets. Jesus.
I was trying to think. I was like, what signs have I seen that says January 30th on it? And there's
That's
like,
what came to your mind.
there's
Dude,
like,
that's very wild.
yeah. Well,
We
there's
don't have
bus
to get into that.
stops that have posters for Melania where I'm at. Like
Oh yeah,
I have a lot of Melania posters around
are people
Hollywood
tagging
right
them
now.
up and stuff?
Yeah, I don't think they write a giant fuck above Melania, so it says fuck Melania, or it's just like it's Melania is a whatever the hell. Yeah, they're destroying him.
And
um, so that'll finally stop being advertised.
yeah, I mean, I do want to. Well, first, I want to tease that our next episode is going to be how to budget a film. So look
Oh
forward to
yeah,
that. That's going to be really fun to break down. And it's actually, I would say, getting your budget together is not the hard part. It's sticking to that budget that's the hard part. I've noticed every film I've done has usually like I'll set a number for myself, and I usually end up when it's all said and done spending about 10 to 20% more than I thought I would. So that's just kind of what I expect from now on.
I see what
I
you mean.
kind of plan for that. But um oh, what was I gonna everybody with the winter storm, with all the craziness in the news, just try to stay positive. Everybody stay safe, make good choices, be nice to people. I think things could be a lot better for everyone if everybody would just, give each other some grace and be a little nicer to each other during such stressful times. You
I
know,
agree.
that's all I have to say about all of that. But make some art or consume some art. It sounds goofy and kind of weird saying it that way, but whenever I'm going through a time where, it feels like the world's in a rough place and everything's changing so fast that it's disorienting and kind of jarring, which, that's kind of life sometimes. I mean, I'm watching, I've been watching the Tremors movies with Theo, which has been really fun to re-experience. Those are such goofy movies, but they're fun, and it's nice to escape and just not think about all the crappy stuff going on in the news. But, another thing is to also make art. If you're somebody who likes to express themselves creatively, whatever
Mhm.
you're feeling, try to turn it into something good with art, And I know sometimes that's easier said than done, but that's what I've been trying to do during all the crazy stuff going on this year. It's been just focus on the film because I know that the film is going to, that's going to have an impact on people, and the more heart that I put into that, the more of an impact it'll have. And if I stop and I focus too much on all the ugliness going on, it'll make its way into my everyday like thoughts, and it's just try to keep that ugliness from getting in and taking over your bandwidth, because everybody wants to talk about what's going on, and it's yeah, I mean, I get that's what people do when times are tough, but stay strong out there, everyone. Ben, I'm sure you're snowed in over there in LA, man. All right. We got
Oh,
like an inch of snow last
I'm
night,
shaking
but
in my boots.
yeah. Um, Winter storm, I don't think it was as bad as they hyped it up to be, which is good, you know. But yeah, it
Depends
was
where you
cold
are.
today. Yeah, I mean my sister, she lives kind of like where the center of that radar, where they would show like, oh, this is where it's going to be the worst. It didn't hit them as hard as they said it would. So I think like overall it was not as bad, and it was nowhere near as bad as the storm that hit that area of the country in 2021. That was pretty bad. I know my sister didn't have power for like 5 days or something like that. So um, nothing like that this year. So that's good. But stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe. Agreed.
And yeah, unless there's anything else, Ben. Y-
No, I'm excited for talking about how to budget a film. There's a lot to cover there, and it's going to be fun to go over how much money everything costs too,
Oh
and
yeah, it
why
gets expensive.
get to finally explain ourselves of why you're asking for 30,000 or more, or
Yeah,
why
yeah,
you're selling vehicles, or why you're having to buy insurance for all this stuff. Like everyone is gonna
yeah,
finally get it.
yeah. I think it will. I think having a podcast about how all this stuff works, I'm sure it's got to be eye opening for some people. I know it was eye opening for me when I really learned how all this stuff worked, because it's definitely a lot more business than you would think. Like, oh, you just go make movies, but you kind of do have to know how to navigate it from a business standpoint and
Mhm.
handle a budget and manage finances and all of that because a lot of these big studio films, they have people to keep track of all that stuff for them, but most of us starting out don't. And so you have to keep track of it yourself or else you're gonna end up running out of money or having to, you know, sell a kidney or something to finish your film. You don't want to have to do that. Ben's already down to one kidney. I'm kidding. He's not.
I might
Hey,
as
but
well be, man.
someday I'm saving it. You're
Might as
making
well
case
be
of
down to one.
emergency.
Yeah.
Anyways, uh, go donate to around midnight so I don't have to sell a kidney.
Hell yeah. Good
um,
segue.
yeah, yeah, and remember, it is the last chance. That next time you see an episode come from us, it'll be too late. So don't wait until it's too late. Go check it out, Indiegogo.com around midnight, February 1st. Those back rewards go away for good. So snag them while you can. There are limited producer spots, by the way. Those have like sold really well. There's only 3 associate producer, 2 co-producer, and 1 executive producer spot left. So very crazy. Get a digital copy, get some early screening tickets. I will be at those early screenings in those 7 cities. So I'd love to meet you, shake your hand, give you a hug, say thank you for supporting a passion project, and you get to see your name on the big screen. So, um, yeah, thank you to everybody who has supported it and who, will support it before it's over. And as always, I'm Derek J. Bowder,
I'm Bet Escobar.
and this is the Fellowship of the Script. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again soon for the next episode. Until then, keep creating, keep pushing, and keep telling stories that matter. Around midnight, Indiegogo.
That's right.